guys, welcome back to another live stream of Sin Filtro. Do you like hip hop? Do you like the artistic graffiti movement? Well, you're lucky because today we have here some guests that are going to introduce the hip hop movement here coming in Arizona, and this is Sin Filtro. All right, guys, thank you guys again for tuning in. I'm so happy to be back since I started taking over Sin Filtro back in March. And honestly, it's been a wild ride. I'm just happy that whoever came out in March, I'm sending you guys my best wishes, hoping all the success for you guys. And speaking of in March, I had a guest here who his name is Adrian. He's an artist, and now he's accompanying me with some two other fellas who are really great artists. So let me introduce them. Here is Adrian. Here is DJ Action and B-Boy House. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
We're great.
Awesome,
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for having us.
No, absolutely. And so I'm excited to have you guys because I know you guys have a really cool event coming up. It's the Furious Styles Crew 30th anniversary.
That's right.
Yes.
And I was so surprised because I saw the 30th anniversary and I'm like, whoa, so it's been around for quite a while, you know. So I don't know if you guys can fill me in on how excited you guys are about this. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Extremely excited, but I think with House being the president, B-Boy House being the president of Furious Styles, I know he's going to kind of talk about a little bit of how we got here,
Right, yeah.
and where we're going. So take it away, House.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a big deal, right? 3 decades, 30 years of anything is a really big deal. So for us, for us that grew up, have grown up to this, I'm the same age as hip hop, pretty much. So for us to go through the process that we've gone to, where it was a time that people didn't take it serious, we thought it was going to go away. It did go away and have its waves at times where it went back underground. So something like that people never thought in a million years, that we never thought really, that because of the way things were put out, that this was going to be something that we'd be sitting here in 2023, 30 years later, celebrating. Hip hop is also celebrating its 50th anniversary. So it's an incredible thing, because it's a worldwide movement. So super excited about it.
Thank you for that, Adrian. How excited are you, man?
Yeah, super excited. Super excited to, show the community what we've been building for the entire year, to present all of the pillars of hip hop and bring you music, dance, graffiti art, everything. So being one of the youngest members, I'm super hyped, super excited for this. I myself being part of the process and getting into these spaces that we're gonna be talking about shortly and stuff, it's just eye-opening to me to see like where the hip-hop culture and the Furious Styles crew is moving forward in the future. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. So when I think about 30 years, I think about like the 1970s. I saw like a meme about that, and then
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that's wrong because 30 years, it's already in the 90s.
Right.
But I mean, what's your take on that? How has hip hop evolved since the 90s for you guys?
Well, for me, I think it's such a new art form if you think about it, and like musically, you're looking at spaces and places where hip hop was birthed, and the idea of these underserved communities and these marginalized communities and people in low-income neighborhoods, they needed something to do. And now, if you fast forward and you think about it, now it's this billion-dollar industry, right? So what we are trying to do is keep it back to its roots, the authenticity of it. The rawness, with b-boying, which you guys are calling breakdancing or breaking, with DJing, and of course aerosol art or graffiti art. Those are those elements that we're trying to stay true to that. As much as it's evolving and continuing to evolve, we as artists, educators, and practitioners of these elements, we want to make sure the authenticity is always there. So that's why, as a crew, we're always pushing those boundaries and making sure that wherever we perform and wherever we're teaching, that we're letting our audiences know, especially those who are unfamiliar with the art, its roots, where it comes from, and not to get it mixed up or twisted with, a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of the quote-unquote rap music that you hear, the urban art music, that has taken because it's such a big industry and it's so, lucrative. Yeah. These companies are, taking, this is hip hop, and it's not, it's different. It's not the culture that, that we've grown up with and that we partake in and what we practice.
Yeah, no, and then when you refer to keeping it traditional, I was looking at this event, and then I see that you guys are including dance.
Absolutely.
Dance, any kind of dance is a form of art, right? And so that surprised me because you don't really see that. It's more about the music, and you need to look like this and like that.
Right.
And then, so when I saw the hip hop dancing, I'm like, wow, no, that's actually legit because you guys include even the background music, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then so how did you guys tap into this whole hip hop culture? Like, when did it start for all of you? It's a long story.
How about you, House? When did it start?
For me, it was in the early '80s when it first kind of hit. So it was at a very young age. It was really. Long story short, I went to in sixth grade. I had to go to the school in my neighborhood, which was predominantly like black and brown folks. And the very first day that I walked into school, I saw the kids in there, which I found out later on they were practicing for a show at the park. And I saw them, popping and doing the centipede and all these things, and I had no idea what it was. And I thought it was just in that neighborhood that was happening. I thought it was strange. Then later on, I found out that my other friends from my other school were doing it, and then I would see people performing downtown. And then movies like Beat Street and Breaking came out, which kind of packaged it all together. So it was all around me. I'd seen the writing on the rooftops, riding the train with my mom in Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, and again, my aunts, I had 2 older aunts, and a lot of their friends were DJs, so I would hear the music. Again, I would see the dancing. You would see the MCs. And so it was just something that was just there, and I was lucky enough to be around that time when it all kind of started evolving. But at the same time, it got kind of commercialized really fast and went back underground for a while.
Yeah, so you're saying it started basically in communities. It started as a small thing, and then I'm sure all these companies are seeing it as a profit. Like, well, let's take it, let's make it ours, and then this is what hip hop is. But it's not. In a sense, it's not really all tied in together.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what happened in the '80s. So now we're going kind of through that same kind of cycle right now in 2023, where there are giant corporations jumping in, but hopefully, luckily, we're now, the culture in itself is older, we're more mature, we're more educated now. Now we have people that are lawyers and doctors and these kind of things that we can bring in, and so we do it correctly, and we're more than willing to work with large corporations, but obviously we have an old taste in our mouth from like, what happened to us before.
Definitely.
So we just want to make sure that we get, we're in these kind of places and spaces, but on our own terms. We have an actual seat at the table. The more important thing above everything else is that we have a voice, right? That we have a voice at the table, and overall, that's the big picture.
Yeah, definitely. How about for you, DJ? When did you get it?
I was born on the West Coast, so Los Angeles was where I was born, and I was introduced to hip hop at a very young age. In the 80s, probably mid 80s, I want to say 85, 86. In my school, at the library after school, I would see the cardboard boxes out there that left out, and the cardboard floor, and I would see people breaking and popping, and then I kind of caught that bug early, and I started popping and breaking. And I was a b-boy first, and then one day my brother brought home turntables from his high school friend, and he was a DJ. Introduced that, my brother brought home the turntables, and I was like, what is all this music? What is all these records for? I mean, I knew he was collecting records and he had a stereo system, and I would love to go to his room and listen to music, but I didn't know anything about DJing until he actually brought turntables home and on a mixer from a friend of his. I was so intrigued, and so while I was popping, and stuff like that. But I wanted to actually play music, and he left one day, and I snuck into his room, started tinkering with everything, turning everything on, and he came back and beat me up because I was messing with him. But he showed me the foundation of DJing, was just blending two records together and mixing, and I caught the bug. And 33 plus years later, I'm still doing it. I do it as a living, and I've traveled all in the world, and I've taught, and I've been fortunate enough and blessed. And it's because of hip hop. That's my foundation. I play a lot of different music, don't get me wrong, but hip hop has always been the foundation of what I am and what I do.
Awesome. No, I'm happy for you, man, that you were able to flip it around. And I know, like, back then it was like CDs and
Vinyl records.
yeah, switching it out. Oh, yeah, like
Real
vinyl
records. Yeah, it was records.
But now it's all digital, and like now I'm assuming you guys are seeing that change, that how different it is now, and it's more accessible for sure, right?
Absolutely, when it comes to music, but it's interesting how you brought up the evolution. It cycles itself back. Because right now, what's really big is vinyl again. Records, record stores are really big in the last, within 10 years, vinyl has made a resurgence, and it's outsold CDs because no one has CDs anymore. And record stores are across the nation are coming back on the come up. Before it was dying and then all of a sudden now you can buy records at Walmart, you can buy records at Target, Urban Outfitters. There's all these places, So it's just a cycle. Everything kind of cycles itself. Like House was saying, we're a little bit smarter and we're wiser now. It's just that for me, a lot of these kids who want to get into vinyl and records, I'm not paying $35 at Target to buy a record when I can go digging at a thrift store and get it for like $7, $10. That's because the same record I have at Target, it's, I bought it back then at $12 and they're selling it for $42 or something like that. It's like, psh. Again, it's capitalism, and that's that whole.
Those are the part of the changes, right?
Yes.
That happen, especially when something is kind of reintroduced into everybody. But how about you, Adrian? Like again, I know we've had you before, but just for the audience, like, how did you get involved into this movement?
For me, when I was younger, I started off as a b-boy for a very short time. I liked it. It was great to be in front of audience and stuff. I think I might have performed at the time was Westridge, which is now Desert Sky. I'm not sure what it is now. But I did that for a time. I've always been like an artist all my life, but until like around the 80s, when the movies, like House was speaking of, like Break-In or Beat Street, is when I saw just a bunch of neighborhood kids, just like us, that were getting together, and they were doing art with spray cans. They were doing, dancing on ceilings and stuff. I thought that was real when I was a kid, but there was DJs, there was everything in there. You know what I mean? It was exciting to see that. And as neighborhood kids, growing up, I wasn't very good at sports, but there was a few of us in the neighborhood that would get together, and I would watch them mostly dance and stuff. So I was kind of inspired by that. But until I started seeing, like I said, the graffiti elements in Break-In and Beat Street, and when I was younger, I believe I saw like on Channel 8 PBS here, local in Phoenix, Arizona. I saw a movie called Star Wars, and I said, I got chills right now. You know what I mean? Just still, like I'm a kid, man. You know what I mean? Watching this and seeing the trains and them painting and everything else, and it was always there as an artist, but I didn't know how to really, I didn't have any friends that were really doing it. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I got older, a little older into high school, and I met a really good friend of mine, and he was showing me all these like magazines and all of his art and the people that he was spray painting with, and I got the bug, man. I knew it was kind of always there, you know what I mean? I just didn't know, I guess, because I didn't know about the elements. I didn't know that there was the four, anything else. But that's what initially pulled me in. So I was 17 years old when I started, and, just kind of, tinkering with it, spraying and stuff like that, Here I am, 48. Still doing it, and like as action, I'm a full-time artist as well. So I do graffiti art, fine art, stuff like that. I'm one of the lead artists for the crew, and ever since then, man, it's like I never really it never really left me. It's always there. I think that the youth and the kids that we work with keep us younger. You know what I mean? And it's exciting to see other kids getting inspired by you, and that's all I want to do. As disclaimer and stuff. I'm not trying to turn you into a graffiti writer and vandalize and do things like that. Although that is the the beginnings of it. You know what I mean? So what I did is I just kind of refined it a little bit, and working with House and painting with them and stuff. You get to learn like just the vocabulary of it. It is broken down, man. Everything. You know what I mean? A lot of people just see graffiti. Oh, it's just graffiti. No, there's so many different names. There's a lot of typography in it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different things, terminology, history of it, everything else that you should know. You know what I mean? But that's how I got it, and it's never left.
Yeah, I really like the artistic side of it, like the visually. It's very enhanced. Like it has its own style to it, like the Furious Style Crew. I don't know if we can pull up the flyer for the event, but it's pretty sick. Who came up with it? Who came up with the idea?
The cover of this one is one of our
It's the one that has like a bumblebee.
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's one of our crew members from Barcelona, Spain, because we have a chapter in Barcelona, Spain, and
Yes.
Copenhagen, Denmark. Ross, he's an incredible artist. He DJs, he MCs, he breaks, he
All the
paints,
elements.
he does it all. And so yeah, he came up with that.
Yeah, it's right there, ladies and gentlemen. So you guys can check it out. See that cool flyer for the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
The 30 years of Fierce Styles Crew. Now, for that, for Fierce Styles Crew, what has it changed in you guys? Like on your perspective on art? Because I know it's like, you could be an artist and you could, sell your art. You can promote your art. You can even become your own independent brand, right? But what have you guys what have you guys learned? What have you guys kind of taken from Fierce Styles Crew and kind of made it your own, in the sense that it has changed your perspective on art?
I mean everything. I mean it's not just not the perspective of art, just perspective on life, which you could say is art. You mean or vice versa. But I mean I think so many of the lessons that I've learned on how to navigate and how to it's a lot of self-exploration and self-discovery, and then that's what shifts your perspective on art. So it keeps you to when you're growing up doing these things. You're growing up as a writer, right? We call ourselves writers when we paint. You're kids, and you're risking, when you're running train tunnels, or you're on rooftops, or you're getting chased by folks, or whatever. I mean, again, because that's not what we're encouraging, but we're not going to pretend that that's not the foundation.
Yeah.
It was created by kids on the streets, right? And so to understand, like, when you get put in these positions, and then you still continue to do it again and again and again for free, you're not trying to sell it. You're not even trying to tell people that you're an artist. You keep your name unknown. So that just tells you, like, wow, I really, really love this. Because I'm not getting any money out of it. I'm not getting you get fame, but it's underground fame, only with your own folks. So it just teaches you to, like, let me be an artist to be an artist, right? Everything else that'll fall into place if you want it to fall into place. But the drive is just that raw drive of just doing it, of just creating, of just being in that process, of just connecting as a community. So you don't get hung up on all the material things. You don't get hung up on the money. You don't get hung up on all the things that are a problem in the world right now. It's just.
I'm sure it's an experience for you since you're the president, right?
Yeah.
You get to kind of you have the workload, basically.
A little bit.
Everything.
And he's here on his birthday today too.
Oh, well, happy birthday, man. I want to send out some best wishes
That's
to
so
you.
low.
So how about for you, DJ?
Action.
Action. Earlier I said Ashkin, but
I
I've
know.
been learning is like, I was like, is this Ashkin or...
It's okay. People butcher it all the time. No worries. For me, my perspective, being a member of Fierce Styles Crew, and just seeing its evolution, what it's done for me in the perspective of the art and its art form, is understanding that when I knew about Fierce Styles Crew in the '90s, and then we fast forward, it still has its core and its rawness, but it's evolved. And one of the evolutionary things is the spaces that we're now invited to and are able to perform and do workshops and things of that nature. I think that's key, and that's something that's continuing to grow. The fact that we're at 10% of the Arts, the fact that we're at the Herberger Theater, the fact that we've been invited to the Musical Instrument Museum MIM multiple times to do performances there. And I think for me personally, seeing that evolution from us being in the streets or being on the corner and performing in the community centers or wherever we could get our hands on to DJ or do art or break, whatever it is. And now we're in these spaces that not too long ago it was sort of taboo to have hip hop in these spaces. But now it's because we're we've been doing it for so long. We're these practitioners and artist educators. These spaces and these organizations are looking at us now like, wow, how can we continue to have you here in these spaces, and what is it that we can do to help? So as that continues to grow, and as we evolve, we have more wisdom on what it takes to run these particular shows and what we're looking for. So we're not kids anymore getting taken advantage of like in the 80s when these corporations and these people are doing that. We're all adults now, and a lot of us understand what needs to be done and how it needs to be portrayed, and how we can make it grow. And so for me, that's that kind of where I see the art in all aspects of Fierce Task Crew going and continuing to grow.
How about you, Adrian?
Oh man, I could speak on a few things. Social media. Social media right now, I can see what our crew is doing, like pieces and art in Denmark, in Spain, in Europe. It's so easy. Back in the day, you couldn't really do that. You know what I mean? You had to, have a pen pal when you were exchanging pictures and photos and things like that. Also, too, supplies. Supplies have changed. Back in the day, we were making our own things, making our own markers, making our own caps, things like that. Now it's just like you can walk into a hip hop store and it's all there. You know what I mean? Low pressure cans, high pressure cans, all of that stuff. Where I've seen it, I've always seen it, in the 70s and the 80s. A lot of the graffiti writers, had their own solo art exhibitions, which was amazing to see. You know what I mean? I'm starting to see a lot more of their pieces in, a lot of the OGs and all the young cats too, having their stuff in like fine art galleries and stuff, so I am super proud of that. Whenever, I can show a piece, like I showed a piece at the Herberger a while back, and I can have things like that were, spray painted with graffiti. It was a firefighter's helmet, and just with everything, I kind of laugh inside, but I'm proud, I'm here, and although my, medium was different than everybody used, I was still in this space, so.
You made your mark.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, and then look at you now bringing on 2 new guests with us here.
Yes.
Yes. So how has Fierce Task Crew, how has it been able to reach other parts of the world?
Well, that's a good question, House. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is through travel. A lot of us, for decades, we're traveling nonstop on your own dime, on your own ticket. Nobody's paying for it, nobody's sponsoring, that kind of thing. But just traveling the world, and just you start to, your community gets bigger, right? Because your community was here in Arizona. Now I can go in different parts of the world and I know folks. So just and being able to go to these places where you might not even speak the same language, verbally, but we speak the same language on the turntables or on the dance floor. And so you build this, and there was so few of us that you got excited every time you ran into each other in another city, in another country. Yeah, it's, and you're a weirdo like me, all right. I mean, same thing when you walk into these events, it feels like home, because again, it's, you're an outcast at some point. Like you said, maybe I wasn't big enough for the football team, or fast enough for the track team, or tough enough to be with whoever, but with this is everybody here is kind of different, just like I am, and has a different perspective. So the Barcelona, Spain chapter, which is doing incredible things right now. They're moving beautifully right now. And during that time, VHS tapes, they got around. People would somebody get a copy of some footage that recorded at a practice, and then that would get 30 copies of it, and then people would send it out, and so people would be like, oh, I seen you on that VHS tape. So VHS tapes for at least for the dance, I think for all the elements, because you had graph videos, you had DJ videos, you had MC stuff. So I think that traveled around, but it made it like gold if you had one of those, and so if you were be able to be on one of those. So that helped a lot of the word of mouth kind of thing. And then, you know, eventually with the internet came up is where you were able to connect with,
Faster,
with
right?
more folks
Yeah,
as well.
faster.
But you know, yeah, it's an incredible thing. Again, this is a worldwide thing, and it's everywhere, and it's a movement that, you know, of course we're romantics about it, but this is definitely something, you know, peace, love, and unity is what we push in hip hop.
Absolutely.
And it is something right now that the world needs all over the place. You know what I mean? But so we do what we can in our little corners of the world and to spread it, because we know what it's done for us, and so we know how it can spread.
Yeah, I really like that you guys have been able to cultivate a space where you guys are inviting people.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're not hip hop.
No, it's the opposite. I mean,
No, and that's great. So before we go to commercial break and we break down the event, what's an advice you guys would give to an independent artist so that way they can get a little bit more connected in the sense that they can create their own.
For me, and when I teach and I get to travel, what I always like to say to anyone who has the opportunity to travel, because travel is the great educator. You know, that's how you're able to come across different cultures, you know, different people, and see how everyone's living in these other spaces across the world and other parts of the world. And so because travel is a great educator, your network starts to grow, and then your network is your net worth. So as long as that keeps continuing to grow, your worth is growing as well, because you're going to be in these different spaces. You're invited. You feel welcomed when you go into this country or this space or whatnot. And then ultimately, just for anyone starting off, is gratitude. Gratitude is a great multiplier. Be grateful for every little thing, and that just continues to grow, because there's a lot of people who say, oh, I'm stuck here, this is all I'm going to be, I'm only in this space, I'm only in Arizona or whatnot. No, that's the wrong mindset. The mindset is to be grateful for, you know, your community and the things that you have here, and watch yourself grow.
I agree on that one. How about B-Boy House?
I think finding whatever it is that you're doing, finding something that you're automatically going to do it more than seems normal to other people. Right, when other people are done practicing, you stayed an extra hour. When you're doing things that it doesn't seem reasonable to other folks, and you do it just because I have no other choice but to do this. I failed and left a lot of college classes because I was like, nope, I'm going to go to this event regardless. We'll figure this other part out. I mean, where people are like, what? You're crazy. What are you doing? Or drop jobs so I can go on tours. And people are like, you have a full-time job with a great salary. I mean, things that other people just doesn't seem rational to folks, but that you just doing it just because you would do it for free, no matter what. But find that thing that's, we say it's a passion, but it almost has to be more than a passion at some point.
It's a little bit risky, right?
Yeah, of course, you're taking risks, but you're not even thinking about the risk at that point, because I have to breathe. I mean, how do I not breathe? I have to breathe, and this is my breath. Just so to be able to tap in and find something like that, and just again, it has to consume you almost, and then you figure out the balance. But it consumes you, where the average person is like, yeah, this. I mean, we're just nerds. We're hip hop nerds. That's it. Yeah. Because we look at people that what we would call nerds. It's why? Because they really liked math, or because they're really like, well, you're a weirdo, you're a nerd, but that's us. It just happens to be that hip hop is really cool. I mean, but that's it. It just because it consumes you, because you don't care about anything else. When everybody else is going to the clubs or trying to chase after girls or whatever the case might be, your party is still my art or my dance. I would rather, and I've had people say that, be like, because I would come after the weekend and talk about like a club thing, and I always talk about battling. They're like, man, do you ever like talk to girls at the club? I'm like, no, not really. I'm not really worried about that. Like, I go to the club to go battle, and it changes as you evolve, as you grow. But it's just that thing where everything else, you have like these blinders, you're so focused. It's that, and then it just becomes. And then later on, you go, oh wow, that was a little extreme what I was doing. That was a little crazy, but it got us. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Adrian, what about you?
In a time when you're young and you're looking for self-expression, you want to identify, you want to have a belonging to something. The hip hop community, by you coming around and just being around, catching the bug, being inspired. You know what I'm saying? it's something great for some kids. You know, I mean, we have a lot of kids and youth that come in, man, even adults that are just inspired from what we do. You know what I mean, and ask a lot of questions. So I would say, ask questions, man. Take risks. Believe in yourself. Have confidence. I mean, if I could have went up to some graffiti writers when I was younger and said, "Yo, can I rock with you, bro? Can I paint with you? Or how do you do this?" Yeah, you might say, "Hey, get out of here, little buster. You know, get out of here." I'm showing you, but maybe somebody could have taken you under their wing, you know, and they could have shown you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, you know what I mean. I would say just ask questions, man. You know what I mean? Find the elders, the OGs. You know what I mean? And find something that you connect to. I think that's what's so great about the hip hop community is. You can choose dance, you can choose art, all those elements are in there. You can choose music, you know what I mean? And people not, you know, and singing, you know what I mean? So a lot of people aren't seeing all that stuff. So it's, to me, it's the greatest thing. Hit the hip, if the whole entire world ran off, you know what I mean? Just of the hip hop, like, you know, I don't know.
Like culture and the music.
Yeah, and it would be a greater place, man. So
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing that. And when we come back, we'll break down the event a little bit more and then see how you guys can get involved. And also check out fearstylescrew.com for more information. We'll be back right now. Thank you guys. All right, guys, we're back. And yes, so all the flyers that you guys have been seeing are part of the Furious Styles Crew 30th anniversary, right? Well, it says 30 years, but you know, I say 30th anniversary. And then to start out, you guys are gonna start out on Friday at the Tempe Center for the Arts. So now, break it down, man. What's gonna happen on Friday?
So Friday is the official opening ceremonies, and we're going to have we're going to be showing some films, right? Because again, when we talk about we started in these elements, but this has branched us all out into different areas. So we have people in the crew that are cinematographers, that are musicians, that are, you know, all these other things. So we want to make sure that we highlight all these other things, but all, still through a perspective of hip hop. So we're gonna have a film festival. You're gonna see some films. We're gonna have a discussion panel. We're bringing in some incredible, you know, OGs, some veterans from both New York and California, across the nation, that are going to be speak on a panel. And then, of course, we're going to have the live music and the jam, which is the most important part, is getting us together. So again, that's the gist of that Friday, that first Friday. And then we have an incredible Friday night after party with the Blunt Club. And again, we have a lineup. The DJ lineup this year is crazy. You know, again, from Spain, from Denmark, from Chicago, from New York, from LA.
Is DJ Action gonna be playing?
I'm doing a showcase actually on that.
Yeah, and then we'll have
at the opening night.
the
So
DJ showcase. So you'll see a little bit of all the elements. Give everybody a taste. You know, give everybody a chance to. Again, we're getting people from all over the world.
Yes.
We've written invitation letters for teams, for national teams from Morocco, people from Chile, Netherlands, Japan, obviously Spain. So you know, it's one of these places that you no matter how much we describe it to you, until you walk into the room and you feel the energy and you see all of these cultures, all these people that normally aren't supposed to be together, let's say.
Yes.
Then that's when you really can feel it.
The interesting part that you mentioned was the film part. I know it's not like you know, it's part. I know you guys are going to include graffiti, art, dancing, music, but now you guys are including film. How is that like a little bit more different?
Again, it's because we've expanded and branched out to those things. Again, we have particular people in our crew that make films, incredible films, and so. But again, it's through a different eye, right?
Yes.
It's through this eye of our perspective of this hip hop lens. So, it was just important to be able to include, because we can go in so many different directions, because everybody has so many different talents. Again, and it's based off of, like, I was an MC, or I was a DJ, or I was a breaker, or whatever. But then hip hop is just spreading that into every industry. Every industry that you can think of, whether people realize it or not, hip hop is the
Yeah,
influence. in it.
because now, like, of social media, I'm sure you guys can post videos,
Yep.
the dances, the art, and so should we expect films on Friday?
Yeah.
Yes.
More of the
Yeah.
films. Okay. How about Saturday then? I see Saturday. There is cash prizes involved. There's going to be it's a dance competition, right? And then the freestyle. And then what is the 1-versus-1 popping?
So there's the different categories. We're giving out a few $1,000s. So the 3-on-3 freestyle dance category, that's because we used to only have the main elements of breaking and popping before, but there were so many other people, movers, dancers that supported us. They're like, we want to participate too, but we don't necessarily break, or we don't necessarily do this popping style. And so it's more, it's open to everybody. The music is still hip hop, street based, but it's really just about how you react to the music, and that's a 3-on-3. We have the 3-on-3 breaking, which is obviously dedicated to the original style of hip hop of breaking. Popping is our West Coast, counterpart of the funk styles. People would know it, that comes out like the robot, and they think of these
Yes.
kind of things.
Waving, doing
Yeah, yeah.
waves and stuff like
Or
that.
the
So-
worm.
Yeah. So popping is a one-on-one, and then we have the
No,
we're still on Saturday.
It's still on Saturday.
Then
Kids-
we have the
kids.
the kids battle. We have a one-on-one kids battle, because right now we're getting a beautiful resurgence of a whole new wave of kids coming in.
Generation. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
There's things, and there's a lot of hype around, like, the Olympics in 2024. You know what I mean? And they had breaking in the Olympics, the Youth Olympics in Brazil a few years back in 2018. So we're seeing this big resurgence. So we just want to make sure that we highlight and feed that, right? Because really, that's what it's
Yes.
about. It's about the future. So we'll have the one-on-one kids break-in as well.
So then Saturday is mostly focused on
Mostly on dance.
Dance.
That's also
Dance.
the Phoenix Festival of the Arts
Yes.
going on too
Outside,
during
yeah.
that time.
Yes, that one is going to be at
Herberger.
Herberger Theater,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yes, and then you can also search it up online, Herberger Theater. That's going to be the location. Check out furiousstylescrew.com for more information and how you can purchase tickets. So I would say definitely for Saturday. Is that like the most anticipating day?
I think there's the most for the dancing watch, for sure, because that's where most of the dancing is happening. And again, you're going to see international teams coming out for this, so it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Nice, nice.
And it's at the Herberger, which is a space that's not normally where you would see something like this. And the fact that, we're able to do that, and it's going to be a different set, because we had to do some different things in that space in order to make it work. So you need to come on out and check what we've done and what we're doing with the Herberger, which hasn't been done ever.
Or you guys the first of the first.
Yeah, we're the first
For this, yeah.
for this at the Herberger.
And again, to put it in people's perspective, right? We touched on it, but again, this is something that in the '90s, if I wanted to rent out a hall, I couldn't say the words hip hop. They would say no. You were not going to get, no matter how much money I could pay extra. No, they just were scared of it. So, so you would have to, like, say, oh, it's a dance contest, or it's a quinceañera or something, right? And then all of a sudden, like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
So it's a huge deal to go from getting these no's and getting these doors shut to be able to get into these spaces again that we're not. But that's what hip hop is. Hip hop is being able to adapt and adjust, and to be able to overcome. We have sayings: hip hop won't stop, can't stop. Like, no matter what challenge you put in front of us, we're going to figure it out. Some have taken longer than others, but again, we've been building with incredible partners at places like the Tempe Center for the Arts and Herberger Theater. Shout out to Cecily out there, that they're advocating for us. That also might have grown up a little
Those
bit.
are
And
very great spaces.
Yeah. So and again, we're transforming the spaces, and our other goal to work with these big organizations is not just because it doesn't mean better, right? Just because you're in these spaces doesn't mean that's a better space than a street corner, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful things happen on our street corners when we get together automatically. But it's really just more about that we want to educate each other.
Yeah.
We want these spaces to learn about our communities and how our communities work.
Yeah.
Right? They're having to do things in these spaces that they normally would never have done. But cool, now they're gonna have it in their head. Now other community members can try to get in these spaces and they trust and they know how to deal with it. If they're gonna have renovations or if they're gonna build a new theater, now you're gonna have these kind of events in mind.
Yes.
So that's the big picture. That's a long. Our theme this year is chess, right? It's the long game. We're not playing checkers anymore. We're playing chess, and that's the thing to look beyond all of this. Because even for our community, they're looking at us like, what? Why are you guys going to these places? Like, but it's like but they trust us. I think for the most part. So like trust us, rock with us. You mean and. We have some people backing us up. United Hip Hop Vanguard, Jukebox, Levels. Quite a people for the Sunday stuff. So I just want to make sure people understand that that's what it's this long game that we're
Yes.
trying to play, and so people supporting us shows that confidence. So with these other organizations, you'd be like, wow,
Yes.
all the people came in. This is for the people, by the people. So look at all the support that they got, and so we know that ticket prices are more than we normally would charge for things, but invest. We're investing ourselves, so invest with us.
It's going to be a very different experience for sure. I mean, that's something you don't see, right?
Right.
And that's
Absolutely.
part of the evolution that Furious Styles Crew has, right, incorporated into hip hop. So definitely big changes, right? And
Yeah.
now you guys can say, we did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did that. So then last day, Sunday, the Out of Control All Controller DJ Battle.
Yes. So last year I threw that at the venue is going to be Trail Hip Hop Shop, which is on Indian School, 1817 East Indian School, just west of the, east of the 51 freeway. And so the Out of Control DJ Battle, normally with hip hop we've grown and with 2 turntables and a mixer, playing on vinyl records and whatnot. And so this is part of that evolution. So I had a lot of people a lot of DJs who don't have turntables, or they haven't bought turntables, or they don't know, and they're on these controllers, which a lot of mobile DJs and other clubs they have. And so the question was, how do they get to compete or perform, in a battle, in a competition wise? And so I thought of last year, well, why don't we do a DJ battle focused on modern day controllers. So you're still having the element of a battle, like a DJ battle, like we've done in the past, but we're using modern day controllers. And it was so successful last year when we decided to have a third day to celebrate our 30-year anniversary. Odin Rock, shout out to Odin, he actually brought it up to say, hey, why don't we do the controller battle, for our third anniversary. I was like, that's a great idea, let's do it. We have people flying in. I have a DJ flying in from Florida, California, Michigan, all over just to compete at this. And we have sponsors from Jetpack Bags, Pioneer DJ, Direct Sounds, Creative Sounds, Fader Manners. Shout out to all you guys, Show Boss, AV. They're going to be doing a really cool video wall for us to have all the DJs' logos and our logos on there as well. We have prizes: $1,000 first prize, $500 second place, and $250 for third. So that the DJ element side, we're really excited. We're bringing in DJ Trays, who is a Red Bull Freestyle national champion and a 2-time world finalist. So he's one of our guest judges, as well as a special guest DJ. He's going to do a showcase for us as well. And our local talent too, a 2-time cut-to-cut champion, DJ Astonish. He will be one of our special guest judges, as well as people in our crew. DJ Reflection, DJ Panic, and then another friend of ours, really talented DJ, Les735. So those are all and Panic, DJ Panic, sorry. Those are our judges and showcase guys for our battle. We're really excited, and it's, we're just, one of those elements that started everything was DJ culture. And because it's evolved, we just wanted to make sure that we're still doing that element with a modern day twist.
Now, how does that work? I haven't heard of a DJ
Battle?
competition or a DJ battle. Like this one go and the other.
Yeah, and in fact, so how this is a showcase style battle. So each DJ will get 10 minutes to go ahead and rock a set. And we have an acronym for scoring it, and I created it. It's called SCORE. First one is skill. That's worth 5 points. C is creativity. O is originality. R is response from the crowd, and then E is your energy, how your stage presence is. So maximum score is 25 points, 5 points each category, and then all the judges' decisions are final. So each DJ gets to do a 10-minute set, scratching and selection and doing all these tricks and whatnot to impress the judges and the audience, and then the judges will tabulate the scores, and at the end of the we'll have a winner and pick the champion. So yeah, I've been doing DJ battles for years now. In fact, I just came back from the DMC World Finals, which was in San Francisco. I flew in to kind of get inspiration from those guys out there. So we're continuing to evolve the culture, and with our battle, hopefully get more people involved and get DJs who can't afford turntables or a whole setup to still see that you can still rock it and do something on a small controller.
Awesome. You want to add something, Adrian?
Yeah, so we're going to be finishing up the aerosol battle. We'll be doing
Yeah.
that as well too. So you're also going to see a live aerosol battle. We're going to have some prelims with some writers, graffiti writers that have signed up. That basically, we're going to go, maybe you have the 18, and then we're going to get the best 8 out of that. They're going to just keep advancing. At the very end, what they're going to do is they're actually going to they're going to battle each other. So we're going to have 2 people that we're going to choose, because we have some judges that are going to come in as well. And then when we have one of our own crewmates that's going to paint as well, and they're going to paint the words Furious Styles Crew. So we'll have that as well. So if everybody's coming out, they get to see that. They get to see the whole, from the tag to the throwy to the fill-in to the letter structure and all these different things that are happening. So you're getting all those elements. All the elements are happening that entire day.
Yeah, so awesome, guys. Thank you guys for breaking it down. So Friday, films, Saturday, dance, and then the Sunday is going to be the big day, right? The
Yes.
music. That's when everything's gonna be popping. So now this is all ages, right?
Yes.
All ages
Yes,
are
always.
invited. And what else? What's an important, I should say, the key aspect if someone were to be going to your event? What do you want them to take home?
For me,
Yeah.
I've sat on many different panels for like Phoenix Arts and Culture and stuff, and I've seen I've been fortunate enough to see help vote things in and for things like festivals that have been going on for years. The Chinese festivals, the Japanese festivals, everything that have been going on 40 plus years. What I hope to get out of this is for everybody to get ready, because we want to start preparing for festivals. We want to start doing hip hop festivals, Furious Styles Crew. We want to take over blocks. You know what I mean? We want to do things like that. See us more and more in these venues and things, and that's what I'm excited for. Myself.
Awesome. Well, there you guys have it. Furious Styles Crew 30th anniversary, November 17th through the 19th. A full packed weekend of awesome events. You guys. Now I want to go. but thank you guys again for coming out, and really I'm wishing you guys the best success. Really have a great time, enjoy it. Any last words, guys, for the audience?
Yes. Remember, hip-hop didn't invent anything. It reinvented everything. Grandmaster Kaz.
Just really, even if you don't know anything about this, if you've never been to this, trust us, there's something for everybody. It's a really inspiring community. It's a very welcoming community, because we see a lot of images and things that tell you otherwise. But I'll just say I'm an educator, and one of the things that some of my students always come back with the most are like, wow, you guys hug a lot in hip hop. We weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
And I go, oh yeah, I guess we do hug a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah, the battles will seem very cutthroat and
Tense.
right? But then at the end, you see everybody shake hands and hug. And that's the thing is, if you come here, you're going to learn something about not only the community here in Arizona, and we have an incredible community, but you'll probably walk away learning something about yourself as well.
Shout out to the president.
Man, look
For
at
the
that.
workload, we were just talking about that in the lobby.
Luis Campañanos.
Shout out to Action. These two have been, at it since January 1st. Shout out to you and podcasts and people that have been interviewing us and believe in us. Shout out to the people, the community that have been coming out all year round. At Second Sundays in Tempe when we're out there. All the events that we've been doing. Soul Power just recently ASU, and Man, all I can say is the next 30 years. We're at 30 now,
Yeah.
but you know, you're going to see some incredible things in the next 30. So cheers to the next 30.
Yes, and here's to the next 10, right?
Yeah.
Next 10 years. Well, again, I can't thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, DJ B-Boy House, DJ Action, and then Adrian for inviting. And then thank you guys again for tuning in to Sin Filtro. Check us out next Thursday, live streaming from Frecuencia Alterna, the correct station. Have a good night, guys.
Peace.
Keep doing something. Keep experimenting. I don't know. You know what I mean? You just got to keep doing it. On the real. There's a big enough pie for everybody.